Hello, welcome to another video from pmdrill.com. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what is the cost of pursuing PMP Certification Exam? We will look at the various expenses involved in pursuing the PMP exam. I will also tell you the mandatory expenses which you must spend and some of the recommended expenses so that your exam preparation is much more easier. So based on this video, you can decide on how much budget you should keep depending on your own preferences. Let us look at the costs involved in getting PMP certification. The major costs can be divided into the following categories. The number one is the PMI membership fee for 1 year. This is optional, but I would recommend you to subscribe to the membership for at least 1 year. I will explain shortly why it is beneficial to take the membership. The second cost goes to the PMP examination fees. This needs to be paid to the Project Management Institute for taking the examination. The third expense is the exam preparation training fees. This you will be paying to the trainer or the training institute or the online service provider to mainly obtain the necessary 35 contact hours. The 35 contact hours is a mandatory requirement for you to apply for the PMP credential. The fourth major expense is the cost of the PMBOK guide or a guide to the project management body of knowledge. And then the cost of the reference books and the exam simulators or practice questions, flashcards, and so on. Now let us go into each of these expenses and see in much more detail. The cost of the PMI membership. The PMI membership costs you $129 for 1 year. You also have to pay a one-time application fee of $10. So the total cost of PMI membership for the first year is $139. If you are from India, the equivalent amount in Indian currency is about 9,779 rupees. This is as of November 2019. It is not mandatory to become a PMI member to take the PMP exam. The PMP certification and membership are two different routes, and you do not need to be a member to take the PMP exam. However, I strongly recommend you to subscribe to the PMI membership before applying for the PMP exam. You may ask why I should take the membership. The number one reason, PMI provides discounted certification fee for members. If you are a PMI member, you get a discount of $150 from the actual certification fee. So the cost of your membership will be covered by the discount you get from the exam fees. So actually, even without taking the membership, anyway, you will be spending that $150. So rather you take the membership and then take the exam. On top of this discount, you also get free access to the digital edition of the PMBOK guide, and you can download a PDF copy of PMBOK guide. You get access to a vast collection of knowledge and career resources, webinars, articles, blogs, and so on. In addition to this, I also advise you to subscribe to your local PMI chapter if there is one chapter in your city. The local chapter membership costs somewhere between $10 per year to $60 per year depending on your country of residence. The local chapter to which I belong to charges about $15 per year, but in certain countries like if you are in USA, Canada, Australia, probably the expenses might be slightly higher. By becoming a local chapter member, you can attend regular knowledge sharing sessions and you can connect with other like-minded PMP aspirants from your city. Now let us look at the cost of PMP certification exam itself. So you need to pay PMI an amount of $405 if you are a PMI member. If you are not a PMI member, you will be paying $555. So you can see here there is a $150 benefit if you are a member. That's why I am suggesting you to take the membership first before applying for the PMP exam. The third expense is the cost of PMP exam preparation training. The cost of the training varies widely from country to country. The cost also depends on whether you want to take the training online or you want to take a classroom-based training. Even within the online training, the cost varies whether it is a recorded session or whether it is an interactive session. You can get an online course for as cheap as $10, and there are courses which charge few $100s. I will provide some recommendations in the description below. Make sure to check it out. A good classroom training in India costs you around 12,000 to 15,000 rupees. I personally advise you to go with classroom-based training, which is much more interactive. It is also easier to follow with the trainer after the training completes. It is also easier to form a study group if you are attending a classroom training. If possible, go with the option where it is 4 or 5 full days in a single stretch. I normally don't like training programs that are discontinuous. The most popular training schedule is normally like 2 weekends. People used to attend Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. But I don't like this approach. I always prefer the training to be 4 continuous days or maybe 5 continuous days. Yes, it may require you to take few days off from your regular work, but by attending a continuous session of 4 or 5 days, you can concentrate on the course and you can benefit from it. You will also feel less stressful by attending 4 continuous days than attending a weekend course. Normally, if you are attending a weekend course, that means during the weekdays, you will be going to the work 5 days a week, and then 2 days you will be attending the training. Then again, 5 days you need to go to the work, again 2 days attending the training. Almost like close to 3 weeks of non-stop work. So you might feel it slightly stressful, but I leave it to you. You can choose whichever is suitable to you. You can either choose online training or you can go for a classroom training. If you choose a classroom training, you can again choose whether you want to do it 4 days continuous or you want to do it on weekends, or there are sessions which happens like a half a day over the weekends, things like that, right? You can choose whichever is comfortable to you. The next heading is cost of the PMBOK guide, or a guide to the project management body of knowledge. If you subscribe to the PMI annual membership, you can get the latest digital edition of the PMBOK guide free. So again, this is a benefit of becoming a PMI member. So if you don't become a PMI member, normally the cost of the PMBOK guide could be somewhere around $50. So it is better to take the membership. The next heading I want to talk about is the cost of reference books. Though PMBOK guide is the primary reference, I suggest you to have at least one reference book. There are some excellent books which will be very useful in addition to the PMBOK guide. The cost of the book varies, and a good book might cost you somewhere between $30 to $100. The books I like the most are the ones by Scott Payne, Rita Mulcahy, and Andrew Stellman's Head First PMP. I will provide you the links to these books in the description below. You can check it out. If you can form a local study group, then each one of you in the group can buy a different book and you can start studying together. And with a group, more books will be available for studying. The final expense I want to touch on is the cost of the exam simulators. Generally, the training course provider will be providing you decent amount of questions for you to practice. So while you are negotiating with the training institute, make sure that they commit something on this line, right? They should provide you some good number of practice questions, or they may have to provide you some exam simulator, so you can insist on with the training institute when you are negotiating. Of course, you can also find lots of free online resources available for the exam practice. There are thousands of practice questions available. Again, I will provide a link for you in the description to find about 5,000 plus free online practice questions. However, if you want a good exam simulator, then you may have to spend somewhere around $50 to $100. Don't worry about this expense, it is worth the investment. Let me summarize all the expenses discussed above. The PMP exam has some mandatory expenses and some recommended expenses. As a bare minimum, you have to spend $139 on the PMI membership, $405 on the PMP exam fees, and $10 for an online preparation course. $554 is the least possible cost. If you are from India, approximately this works out to around 40,000 rupees. However, I recommend you to spend a little bit more so that you can have a smooth passage to the PMP credential. You can get a good reference book, an exam simulator, and spend a decent amount on the training. So if you look at the expenses, I suggest to spend around $300 more on the reference book, simulator, and the training provider. So you should budget somewhere around $850 to $900, which is approximately around 60,000 to 65,000 rupees in India. If you can afford more, there are some amazing resources available for you to explore. But in this video, I have tried to provide you a reasonable budget. I hope this video helps you to understand the cost of pursuing the PMP examination. If you have any specific questions, I encourage you to comment below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share this video. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care. See you.